recorded and you can get it on my channel. Okay, so you will get all these lectures on my channel. So students, we were talking about the identifying the research problem. Now sorry, steps into the research. So we have seen that the first and the most important step is the identifying the research problem. Now see, how can we identify the research problem? I told you, research, it should be whenever we are doing, we should have clear objective that yes, these are the reasons for that I am conducting so and so research. Say example, any issue is there in the society, any immediate problem is there, whatever problem is there, so you should have clear objective for conducting that particular research. And the main important thing is that you should have the means the not the it should not be the repeated work, it should be a novel idea. Whatever thing you are doing, whatever research you are conducting, it should be significant to the society, that it should have some worth for conducting that particular research. Otherwise, why to do so much waste of time? Because research is so much effort giving thing, right? And whatever controversial issues are there, it can be selected as a challenge. No fake contribute to science and society. Means see, whatever thing you are doing, again and again I'm telling you, you should ask yourself that is that worth to conduct this particular research. So it should be a very novel and significant thing, and it should be a feasible subject. Now see, when we are conducting that particular research, so research is not only time giving process, but it also required lots of money to conduct the research. So you should know from where you are going to get the availability of that finance. Why do you have that amount of doing? Because especially when you are going for the empirical type of the research, you are doing lots of experimentation, so it gives lots of expenditure. So how much time required for conducting that research? Say example, if you are so we can say that how much time is going to be required for doing that particular research. So example, that you are studying the behavioral effect, so how much time you required, you want to see the entire life cycle of a plant or animal or whatever. So you should be very much thorough and clear about the timing which is required for conducting that particular research. And whether you are able to handle it. Do you have, say example, if you are doing a research in which you are utilizing the animal dosing, or say example you are observing the animal, so do you have the hands-on practice of animal? So we should know that whatever research you are doing, so do you have the ability to handle it? So after that only we should take the problem. See, identifying the research problem is the most crucial step. It should be done very thoroughly. Now see how we all are going to identify that the idea is novel and the significant. So see, this can be done by the review of literature. Nowadays the review of literature is very simple, right? Simply you can go, lots of databases available on the internet, you can go to the various website which is having the lots of research, like we have Shodh Ganga, where you can see all the this university all over India, university thesis are available on the Shodh Ganga website. Then there are various other databases sources, like lots of the science research you can get directly to the this science directory. Then elsewhere is there, lot many sites are there, NCBI site is there. So you should cross check that whatever thing you are doing, it should not be a repeated work, it should be a novel piece of work. Understood? So this is the most crucial step. Then the second is the formulating hypothesis. I told you a hypothesis is a logical assumption of your objective, that if you are doing a particular research, your objectives are so and so, so you assume that these are the results I'm going to get. So this is a prognostic statement. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you the MCQ part of this particular step, right? So here, see, you can be a simple, ask a simple objective, that on which step of research we formulate the objective. Understood? So like this question can be asked. Then on which step we decide the availability of finance, time, and researchers ability to handle the research. So we identified it on the first step, that is identifying the research problem. Then second step is the Second step is the formulating research hypothesis. So research hypothesis, I told you, it is a logical argument. So this is an educated guess. It provides the direction to carry forward the investigation until and unless you will not assume some result. If you are doing any study, definitely you are going to assume some type of the research out of it. Sorry, some result out of it. So this results, or this assumption is called as the hypothesis. So here the question can be asked, the what do you mean by hypothesis? Such question can be asked. Then testing the hypothesis. Now what is this? This is here it comprise of a complete research design, where uh, once you have decided your hypothesis, thereafter we do the research designing, that what you are going to get to achieve that hypothesis, achieve that assumptions. So here we design the control set of experiments, and this is one of the vital step to decide hypothesis is right or wrong, and thereafter only we formulate the theory. And I had already explained you that after that, after designing the hypothesis, we test a hypothesis is accepted or rejected. If it is accepted, we publish it. If it is rejected, we reconduct the research. So this is a very crucial step. And now see, when we are designing the research, so at that time we select the appropriate control on which you are going to do the study. Then sample designing, I told you what do you mean by the sample. Sample is a correct representative of the universe. That means, suppose example, you want to learn the a huge population or species, so out of that you are going to select the sample. Ideally the sample should neither be very large to handle, or it should not be very small to conclude a decision. Especially in the zoology, we are using animal as a sample or as a model. So that time we should be very careful. If you are selecting extremely large quantity, you have to give lots of efforts. It is going to increase your budget. And if you are taking very small quantities, say unfortunately if all experimental animal dies at, so that is going to be a huge problem for you. So we should be very smart while designing the sample, and we should be very much honest while doing our research. We should avoid bias, that pre-trial bias. That means before starting the research only, you are just simply taking small errors. So you start with the error by, you are biased during the trial, you are not writing the results honestly, and post trial bias, why at the time of the dissemination you are writing wrong data. And it should have the reliability whatever data you are getting. Then when we are talking about the documentation of the data, that we all are going to discuss in detail, that how we should document the data. Then see, whenever whatever readings you are getting in research, each and everything you should note very fast. Okay, immediately जब का तभी, otherwise we may get some confusion के बाद में लिखती हूँ आज का report and all, so this will create confusion. So we should be very careful. Immediately every day we should do the recording. Then thereafter, when we are documenting the data, why it is so important, the reason behind that this documentation will be a foundation on which we are going to decide our result, our interpretation. So it is very essential for data analysis, as well as at the end we are going to disseminate the data. Dissemination we all will discuss immediately after this topic, how to disseminate the data. Then we have the collaboration, peer review to support the intellectual property claims. See, intellectual property claims, that is very important. That what happened, that intellectual property claims, see, this research is a novel thing, so not necessary if you are doing any plagiarism, that is you are copying anyone's material, so that should be checked thoroughly. Nowadays softwares are there, we will be talking about those softwares when we will be talking about the plagiarism, that how can we check that whatever research we have done, it is the original work or not. So there are many softwares in which you check the data, that these particular things are not repeated and not been taken, because if we do not follow the plagiarism rules, there are various type of punishment that I am going to discuss when I will talk about the plagiarism. So, to avoid conflict of interest and for defense against false allegations of research, we should do the documentation of data very thoroughly, very carefully, and we should do all this work. The next step is the analysis of the data. Now, see, for data analysis, there are various tools like and various design tests are there, like ANOVA is there, where we compare the three groups. Then we have chi-square tests. Then there are many other F tests is there, T test is there, Z test is there. And then also there are many other softwares are there, like was weaver is there, where we can check analyze, we can do the actually was weaver is for the literature cross references and all. Then SPSS software is there, so lot many new design softwares are there, lot many softwares are there where we can check that yes, we can do the data analysis in a very simple way. Otherwise, when we do lots of, see, while doing research, a lot data has been generated, so when you are doing it manually, you will end up with lots of errors and all. So that's why lot many statistical softwares are designed, and these softwares make the task easier, and we can do our research in a very easy way. Then whatever results we are getting, we have to do the interpretation of that data, and at the end we add the results and conclusion, that these are the results of your study, and with the basis of that results we and or we come up with the conclusion, and sometimes few more points are been added. Say example, if you, especially when you are doing this particular research under someone's guidance, so we write the, we should do the acknowledgement. Just a minute. Acknowledgement should be written at the end. Then we can also add the further suggestion, if any, see, you have stopped your studies with that, so further suggestion for the study in the same field, such points can be added in the end. Understood? So this is all about steps of writing the research or scientific research. Does anyone have any doubt? Please ask me. Yes. If not, we can stop. We can stop now. Now, see, you have done lots of research, but how the people will come to know? that this piece of research is a very novel thing, very classy thing, and this classy piece of work is done by you. So for that we need to do the dissemination of the data. When we talk about the I'm sorry, when we say dissemination of the data, that means it is recording. Now lots many database are there on which we can do. So how the data is been disseminated? So disseminated means publish. So we can do the publication into the peer reviewed journal, publication in peer reviewed journal, in which there are lot many journals in which the this data is been published. They charges processing fees and something. So there are lot many type of journals, like we have the UGC Catalyst journal, in which the academicians is when they are publishing their journal in sorry, when they are publishing their article in those journals, they are getting some scores which helps in accreditation of their post. Then there are various other type of journals, like peer review journal is there, blind review journal is there. So in the peer review journal, basically the team of scholars is there, those who check the whatever piece of research is there, they study it thoroughly and they find yes, there is no some such mistake, the work is novel, and it is no, there is no plagiarism or something. There are various software where they check the plagiarism of the data. So that is done in, and after that the research or work is published into the peer review journal. Then next is the dissertation. Actually dissertation is done after a coursework, like post graduation, MSc, MAd, MCom. So in that researcher, they are studying a topic thoroughly, and a detailed report is been written in a form of dissertation. And thesis is actually it is a broad part of the dissertation only, in which a PhD coursework is been disseminated. So the whole PhD, whatever research you have done, a detailed knowledge of a topic is been disseminated in the form of thesis. Then report, if you have done a project, so that project is been disseminated in the form of reports. Now students, we have learned the various type of reports, right? If you have not attended that particular lecture, I have recorded it for you. You can go in this list playlist which is shared, and you can get that particular video. That I'm not going to see, whatever topics are already been done, I'm not going to revise, because that topics are already available, so you can go and check on YouTube and you can refer from there. Then oral presentation we will discuss in detail, because see, nowadays the oral presentation is most preferred. Now where we do the oral presentation usually done in two form. One is the PowerPoint presentation, another form is the poster presentation. In the earlier time, when the technology was not so much in use, so that time people used to make a banner like poster, and in that they used to present their work in the conference and all. So what are the component of the oral presentation or the poster presentation? So usually this oral presentation or is make on the PowerPoint. First thing it is having is the title, and immediately after title we have the introduction, in which in a single slide we introduce the work, and thereafter in next slide materials and method has been used. And see here, abstracts will not be added, but I have seen some people they add the abstract as well. Then at the end we write the results and discussion, and we discuss the conclusion. Then what could be the future plans, with the acknowledgement is most important. Even if you are doing the presentation into the conference and all, so the acknowledgement become the most important part. Now, when we talk about the poster presentation, so student poster presentation, it is a single slide, okay, in which we are presenting all this component in a single slide. Poster is a single slide, and when we are doing the oral presentation, we are keep on changing the slide in which we add. So ideally, we should make minimum 12 slide, and it should not go very much matlab like 30-40 slide. It should not, ideally it should be 12 to 20 slides only, because see, a human stamina to listen to a problem is this much only. If you will extend the slide so much, so the topic or the presentation will become a boredom, and if you will reduce it, the people will not be able to conclude the problem. Understood? So it should not be very lengthy, and it should not be very small also. So this is about the dissemination of